When you walk through that door at the end of the day, your dog doesn't think my owner is home. They don't see a human being. They don't see the person who pays the bills, makes the food, or holds the leash. And the moment you understand what they actually see when they look at you, something shifts, something deep and permanent. Because what science has discovered about the way your dog perceives you is far more powerful, far more emotional, and far more extraordinary than most owners ever stop to consider. Most people go their entire lives believing their dog simply loves them the way a pet loves an owner. A comfortable arrangement, a trained dependency, something warm and simple. But that is not what is happening, not even close. And by the time you reach the end of this video, the way you look at your dog will never be quite the same again. Let's start at the very beginning. 1. Your dog did not evolve to see you as human. For thousands of years before dogs became the animals we know today, their ancestors lived alongside early humans. Not as pets, not as companions in the way we think of it now. As partners, true partners. They hunted together. They slept close together for warmth on cold nights. They watched over each other in the dark when predators moved through the trees. They shared food, shared space, shared danger, and shared survival. Over 15,000 years of that shared existence, something remarkable happened. Something that has no real parallel anywhere else in the animal kingdom. Dogs didn't just learn to tolerate humans. They didn't just adapt to living near. Their brains physically changed. Their social wiring rewired itself around us. The parts of the canine brain responsible for reading faces, interpreting emotional cues, and forming deep attachments grew and evolved, specifically in response to prolonged contact with human beings. Scientists call it coevolution, two species shaping each other across thousands of generations. And what it means for you, standing in your living room while your dog watches your every move, is this. Your dog's brain was not built to process you the way it processes another dog, another animal, or any other living thing on Earth. You occupy a category entirely your own inside your dog's mind, a category that took 15,000 years to build. So if they don't see you as human, what exactly do they see? That is where it gets extraordinary. 2. To your dog, you are something closer to a parent. In 2019, researchers at the University of Veterinary Medicine in Vienna conducted a study that genuinely stopped the scientific community in its tracks. They tested dogs using something called the secure base effect. It is the same psychological framework used to measure the attachment bond between human infants and their primary caregivers. The idea at its core is elegantly simple. A child with a secure attachment to their parent will explore their environment confidently when the parent is present. They will become distressed when the parent leaves the room, and they will calm down almost immediately when the parent returns. The presence of a stranger does almost nothing to replicate that effect. The dogs in the study behaved identically to the children. When their owner was present, they explored freely and confidently. When the owner left the room, their stress indicators spiked. Their cortisol levels rose. Their behavior became unsettled and anxious. When the owner returned, they settled quickly and completely. The same test conducted with strangers instead of owners produced almost no calming effect whatsoever. Think about what that means. Your dog is not responding to you as a provider of food and shelter. They are not responding to you as a dominant figure to be obeyed. They are responding to you the way a young child responds to the person who is the center of their entire emotional world. The person whose presence alone is enough to make everything feel safe. You are not their owner in their mind. You are their secure base, their anchor, the one presence in the world that makes everything else navigable. When you are there, the world is safe. When you leave, something fundamental is missing. When you come back, everything is right again. That is not a pet and owner relationship. That is something far older and far deeper than that. 3. Your scent is the most powerful thing in their universe. A dog's nose contains up to 300 million olfactory receptors. Humans have around 6 million. The part of a dog's brain dedicated entirely to analyzing and interpreting smell is, proportionally speaking, 40 times larger than the equivalent region in the human brain. When we say a dog has a good sense of smell, we are dramatically underselling what is actually happening. A dog does not experience smell the way we experience smell. For us, scent is background information. For a dog, scent is the primary language through which the entire world is understood. When your dog smells you, They are not just detecting a scent. They are reading an entire story written in chemistry. They know your emotional state before you have said a word or changed your expression. They know whether you are stressed or calm, whether your body is fighting something off, whether something about your internal chemistry is different from yesterday. They are picking up information about you that you yourself are not consciously aware of. A landmark study from Emory University placed dogs inside brain scanners and exposed them to a carefully controlled range of scents. The scent of a stranger produced no notable neurological reaction. The scent of another dog produced mild interest. Food produced a moderate response. But when dogs were exposed to the scent of their own owner, only one region of the brain lit up with significant, consistent, powerful activity. The caudate nucleus, the brain's reward center, the region associated with pleasure, love, anticipation, and positive emotional experience. The same region that activates in humans when we see the face of someone we are deeply in love with. Your dog does not need to see you to feel the full weight of their bond with you. Your scent alone is enough to trigger their brain's most powerful love response. Researchers also found that when dogs left alone were exposed to recordings of their owner's voice or items carrying their owner's scent, their stress hormones dropped almost immediately. Not at the sound of any human voice, not at any random familiar smell. Specifically, and only at yours. You are not a human to them in those moments. You are the smell of safety, the smell of comfort, the smell of everything in the world that is good. And if what you are reading right now is changing the way you see your dog, go ahead and hit like and subscribe. Every video on this channel is built around what science actually says about your dog, not what we assume. What is coming up next is one of the most remarkable discoveries in the entire field of animal behavior. And once you hear it, you will never watch your dog look at you the same way again. 4. Your face is the only non-dog face they ever learn to truly read. Here is a discovery that will permanently change the way you think about your dog looking at you. Dogs are the only non-human species on Earth known to demonstrate what scientists call a left gaze bias specifically and exclusively toward human faces. When your dog looks at you, their eyes drift instinctively and automatically to the left side of your face first. Not the right side, the left, the side of the face controlled by the right hemisphere of the brain, the emotional hemisphere, the side that most honestly and most involuntarily reflects what a person is actually feeling beneath the surface of their expression. This is not something dogs were trained to do. It is not a behavior learned through repetition or reward. It is hardwired into them, built into their neurology across thousands of generations of paying extremely close, extremely careful attention to human faces. Because reading your face was not just useful, it was survival. Reading whether you were pleased or displeased, calm or agitated, safe or dangerous, was the difference between a good outcome and a bad one across thousands of years of living alongside human beings. And it goes even further than that. Researchers have demonstrated that dogs can distinguish between happy human expressions and angry human expressions even in photographs of complete strangers. People they have never met, never smelled, never interacted with in any way. They can read human emotional states from a still image alone. Not perfectly, but significantly. Better than chance. Better than any other non-human animal tested. Your dog has spent every single day of their life studying your face. They have built an internal map of your expressions so detailed and so precise that they can detect changes in your emotional state that you have not yet consciously registered yourself. They know what you look like in the seconds before you smile. They know the particular set of your jaw when something is wrong even when you are trying to hide it. They know you, not the version of you that you present to the world, the real version. The unfiltered one that lives in the micro expressions and the subtle shifts that most humans completely miss. 5. They feel your emotions as if they were their own. In 2018, a research team at the University of London published findings that confirmed something dog owners had always sensed but science had struggled to formally establish. Dogs respond to human emotional distress with what the study described as empathic concern. The researchers were careful with their language. They did not say dogs pretend to feel what their owners feel. They said dogs demonstrate a functional analog to empathy, something that operates in a way that is meaningfully similar to the real thing. When you are sad, your dog's stress hormones rise. When you cry, your dog's heart rate increases. When you are frightened, Your dog's body enters a state of alert. They are not performing concern. They are not responding to learned cues about how to behave when a human appears upset. Their physiology changes in direct response to yours. Their nervous system responds to your nervous system. Without words, without explanation, without any conscious decision on their part. This is partly why dogs become extraordinarily attentive when their owners are ill or going through grief. It is not intuition in a mystical sense. It is biology. Your dog is reading your scent, your posture, your breathing, your micro-expressions, your heart rate if they are close enough to detect it, and all of it is feeding into a system that is wired to respond to your emotional state as if it were their own. They cannot fix what is wrong. They do not understand what a diagnosis means or what a loss feels like in the human sense, but they feel the weight of it, and they stay, because staying is the only language they have for what they want to say. If this is hitting differently than you expected, share this video with one person whose dog deserves to be understood. And if you have not subscribed yet, now is a good time. We cover what the science actually says about the animal sitting beside you right now, and there is a lot more it says than most people ever get to hear. 6. The neurochemical truth of what you are to them. In 2015, a study published in the journal Science made international headlines and genuinely moved people who had spent their careers in animal behavior research. The study found that when dogs and their owners simply gazed into each other's eyes, both the dog and the human experienced a significant measurable rise in oxytocin, the bonding hormone, the chemical that surges between a mother and her newborn child in the first moments after birth, the chemical that underpins the deepest human attachments that exist. Both species, simultaneously. From eye contact alone, let that settle for a moment. Your dog looks into your eyes, and their brain releases the same chemistry that humans use to fall in love and bond with their children. And when you look back at them, yours does too. This is not sentiment. This is not pet owners projecting human emotions onto animals they are fond of. This is a documented, peer-reviewed, replicated biological feedback loop. A cycle of bonding that activates simply because you looked at each other. The researcher who led the study described it as a remarkable hijacking of the human parent-infant bonding system by a completely different species. Dogs somewhere in the long arc of coevolution found the neurochemical key to the deepest form of human attachment and built themselves around it. Not through manipulation, through genuine mutual connection that grew slowly over thousands of years until it became part of who they are at a biological level. 7. What you actually are to them. You are not their owner. That word is too small and too transactional for what the science describes. You are not their master, not their caretaker, not even their best friend in the limited way humans typically use that phrase. To your dog, you are their entire emotional world, the fixed point around which everything else in their existence is oriented. You are the scent their reward center lights up for. You are the face their eyes evolved specifically to read. You are the presence whose absence creates genuine distress and whose return creates genuine relief. You are the one whose emotional state they carry in their own body without choosing to, without being able to stop themselves, because that is simply how deeply their nervous system has woven itself around yours. Their love for you did not come from training. It did not come from treats or commands or years of obedience work. It came from 15,000 years of two species choosing each other again and again until the choosing became biology, until it became chemistry, until it became the thing that fires in their brain when they smell you walk through the door before they have even seen your face. Your dog does not see a human when they look at you. They do not see an owner or a provider or a figure of authority. They see the one thing their entire existence was built around finding. They see you, all of you, the real you that exists beneath every surface. And to them, after all of this, after everything science has uncovered and everything 15,000 years of shared history has built between your two species, what they see when they look at you is simple. It is everything.